Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking a massive journey through time to uncover how one single symbol, born in ancient India, absolutely revolutionized our world. We're talking about a tiny, unassuming circle, a number that looks, well, completely empty, but silently changed the entire trajectory of human civilization forever.
Okay, let's dive right into this. To really grasp what's at stake here, we need to strip away almost everything you take for granted in the modern world. Seriously, imagine a world without zero. It sounds like a simple, maybe even silly philosophical thought experiment, right? But I want you to truly think about the structural reality of it. What actually happens if we literally erase zero from human knowledge?
Well, the harsh truth is, without zero, the foundational blocks of our daily lives just stop functioning. Without this single digit, your mobile phone, it instantly becomes a brick. Computers completely lose their ability to calculate anything. Even the absolute most basic banking tasks that keep our global economy churning become completely impossible. The whole system just collapses.
So, Chapter 1, A World Without Nothing.
To understand why things would collapse, we've got to walk back thousands of years. Now, ancient people absolutely knew how to count. Take the Romans, for instance. They had their I, V, X, L, and C. But imagine the absolute structural nightmare of trying to write down the number 101. How do you visually show that there is literally nothing in the tens column? You can almost picture ancient accountants just pulling their hair out, right? Because they simply didn't have a proper symbol to represent that emptiness.
And because they couldn't clearly define that empty space, calculations were intensely confusing. You couldn't just line numbers up in neat little columns and add them together like we do today. And look, this wasn't just some minor academic annoyance. Real-world trade suffered. The study of astronomy suffered. The broader pursuit of science as a whole suffered. Without a symbol for nothing, the world desperately needed a real game changer just to stop these vital fields from totally stagnating.
Which brings us to Chapter 2, Brahmagupta's revolutionary idea.
That much-needed breakthrough finally happened in ancient India. Amidst this incredibly thriving culture of intellectual pursuit, mathematicians were thinking deeply and very differently about numbers, and among these brilliant minds was the great mathematician Brahmagupta. Back in the 7th century, he looked at this empty space and did something completely extraordinary. He decided to treat zero not just as a gap or some philosophical void, but as an actual, functional, mathematical idea. He treated zero as a number in its own right.
By treating it as a true number, Brahmagupta had to give it actual rules. Things like a number plus zero remains the same, and a number minus itself becomes zero. Now, to us sitting here today, yeah, that's incredibly obvious. But at the time, mathematically proving that you could subtract a number from itself to leave a quantifiable nothing was a massive paradigm shift. He essentially proved you could mathematically create nothing from something. It literally laid the groundwork for the whole shebang.
Moving on to Chapter 3, The Power of Place Value. You see, Brahmagupta's rules didn't just sit collecting dust in a book. They activated an entirely new way to organize quantities. Before zero, representing complex numbers was just messy. But with zero acting as a definitive anchor, you could easily distinguish between a string of ones like 111 and a number like 101. It held the columns in place. Suddenly, massive numbers could be written clearly and easily. You knew exactly which column was the tens, the hundreds, or the thousands. It was a total revolution for how fast and accurately calculations could be done.
Because calculation was finally untangled, the roadblocks were completely lifted. This single invention acted as a huge catalyst. Mathematics just exploded and grew rapidly. Because they could crunch larger numbers, astronomy improved. Merchants could keep highly accurate ledgers, meaning global business improved. Science took massive leaps forward. India's zero essentially sparked a golden age of rapid, unprecedented growth.
Next up, Chapter 4, Zero's Global Journey.
Of course, an idea this powerful wasn't going to stay contained in one region for long. Indian traders and scholars packed this incredible mathematical tool alongside their physical goods and carried it outward along the ancient trade routes. From its formalization in 7th century India, zero spread like wildfire westward to Arab countries, where it was further embraced and refined. From there, it traveled onward until it finally reached Europe. But getting to European shores wasn't the end of the struggle. It was actually a really rocky arrival. When it first hit Europe, a lot of people flat out rejected it. There was deep, deep suspicion. Some folks actually believed the concept of zero was dangerous. They just couldn't wrap their heads around the philosophy of it, famously asking, how can nothing become something? They fundamentally questioned how absolute emptiness could possibly have any tangible mathematical value.
But hey, mathematical truth is undeniable, right? Slowly, the world woke up to its immense power and efficiency. The resistance faded, bringing us right out of antiquity and into Chapter 5, the digital empire of zero.
This truly represents the ultimate triumph of Brahmagupta's idea. Every single computer in existence, from the super servers processing this explainer to that smartphone sitting in your pocket, operates entirely on a binary system using just 2 digits, 0 and 1. That makes the ancient Indian concept of zero an absolute fundamental necessity for literally every piece of modern technology we use today.
Think about what that actually means for your day-to-day life. Whenever you pick up your phone, browse the web, watch a video, check your bank balance, or mess around with cutting-edge artificial intelligence, zero is right there. It is the silent, invisible engine working tirelessly behind everything you do.
The most powerful ideas are not always big. Sometimes they are empty circles. I love that. It's a profound insight that perfectly captures the emotional weight of our journey today. India gave the world a number that literally represents nothing, and yet, that very concept of nothingness is exactly what changed everything.
Because ultimately, math isn't just some boring collection of formulas on a dusty chalkboard. Math is civilization itself. The stories, the history, the real-life magic of our modern world are entirely built on these numerical foundations. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final thought. If a simple, empty circle drawn in ancient India could build the entire modern digital world we live in today, what other seemingly invisible quiet ideas are out there right now, just waiting to be understood, ready to reshape our future entirely?